Hello, once again. We're back to the spreadsheets that we use to capture the information for Ascot Logistics. The reason for producing this is to help the administrators and the operations manager or fleet supervisor to fulfill this spreadsheet properly. Uh, Normally, it's expected to be submitted on every Friday back to management. But what we've noticed is that there's a lot of mistakes on how this is done. What we have in front of us is the spreadsheet for the year 2016. We're now in October 2016. Uh, I'm just basically producing this so that the new staff can take this on and don't have a lot of questions to ask about filling it. Uh, what I will do today is demonstrate how to use the spreadsheet. In particular, the interest will be what is needed to be populated on the spreadsheet and what you don't need to work on at all to give us the deliveries we need. In summary, the whole idea here is to capture every activity that a truck or machine for that matter, like the excavators or the wheel loaders, would be involved in during the course of the week. So it could be in terms of sales, it could be in terms of purchasing commodities, and it could well be in terms of repairs or emergency repairs against those trucks or machines. So what we have with the spreadsheet is again a typical cover page that covers the year, and we have what we call the practice sheet, which is the next worksheet. And in the practice sheet, you you get the chance to actually try out what you want to input into the actual spreadsheet. This gives you the chance to eliminate any mistakes or discover issues that you may have in getting this done. I would suggest very strongly that before you go into the actual worksheets, that you look at what you want to do, make sure it works properly here before you write it by putting it into the worksheet itself. So basically, for every month, January up till December, we would expect information to be put in here, and I'll walk you through each of the columns in the spreadsheet to give you an indication of what needs to be done and how you'll do it. So typically, like the example you can see on the screen, we have what we call an entry number. This is just a sequential numbering from 1 to as many entries we have for the month. The second column is a transaction date. This is the date the activity actually occurred. So it could be the day you're typing it in, or it could be the day before, but obviously it's never ahead of the time you're filling it in. Um, and the format is as simple as that, the 3rd of October. Um, if I'm trying to pick something else, I'll say maybe we're now on the 4th of October. Okay, obviously it's sort of free text, but the format that would be preferred will be just like the one on top. Okay, normally what I'll do is we'll change that format so that we get that format every time we want to write anything in here. Um, the next field, the next column is the actual truck itself or machine that we're trying to write against. Again, importantly, this is a pick list. I'm not expecting free entry in this column. You're supposed to use the list of buttons here where the arrow is, as you can see. You click on it, it gives you a list of all our trucks and machines currently active. If you don't find what you're looking for here, do not try to put anything in. speak to the administrator of the spreadsheet straight away to add the new value for you. If it's not there, don't try to add it in, just ask. So in this case, I'll be picking again the Mercedes truck. If I move on to the next thing, we'll be looking to see what are we doing against this truck that's warranting us to put some entries in here. Again, pick list. I'm not expecting free text. If it's not on the list, you speak to the administrator to put that in for you. And we have quite a huge list here. The activities comes from different sources. If you don't find what you're looking for, you need to speak to the administrator to add it in here for you. In this case, we're going to be thinking about the purchase of Ascot from Senegal. So I'll put that in. And I'm saying what's the quantity on it in terms of the volume of the purchase. Again, once you see this arrows here, is a pick list, which means only select. If you don't find what you're looking for, speak to your administrator. It is crucial we don't change any of the way the spreadsheet works. In here, I'm going to put in 17 cubic meters. Okay. Now the cost of a product is basically how much it's costing us to go all the way and get things done. For this particular case, I'm not really interested in the breakdown in terms of the fuel cost and loading cost and all the other stuff that we do when we go to the sand mines. This is basically going to be an input from the estimate that has been approved for the trip. So in this case, let's suppose it's 48,000. Okay, so that means all the other fields can be, if you like, ignored, or you put in a zero value like I'm doing here. Okay, that gives you an idea of what we're doing. And if it comes back in and is sold for X amount of money, we put that value in here. Now before I do that, I'll look at the section after the black line or black column. Now this section here, all of it is just for viewing. Do not put any value or change any values here. Your point of entry is up to this point. So in this case, let me put a value of 68,000, for example. Okay, and you can see straight away that all this begins to change. For your exercise, for your entries, this isn't do not enter fields. You're not supposed to put anything in any of these three columns here. It is done automatically by the system. Okay, so as you go through, this will keep doing what it has to do. Just ignore it even if it feels wrong. Your role is to put in the entries on all the columns before the black vertical line. Okay, so this completes the information for that particular entry. I do appreciate that the whole information could take more than a day or two. We don't mind if, for example, we put in the fact that we've made that expense of 48,000. They've gone on the trip, and eventually they would come back and we'll get the product sold. We put the value in there, and that's it. Okay. The other example I think I can show you is, again, I can say um, on the 7th of October 2016, for example, the same vehicle, again from a pick list, and in this case it's not making a purchase, it's actually getting repairs done. Okay, and I would say in terms of repairs, it could be an emergency repair, it could be a generic or required repair like a maintenance activity that we're expecting. So so let's say for this case we have uh, an unexpected expense. In this case, we don't really care about the quantity because we are talking about a repair item. So I would put in here not applicable. And again, just like I've done with the Bassett trip, what are we expecting when we do this sort of expenses to give us an idea of the cost? So let's say, for example, is 4,700. Okay. Um, and again, I'll just step through and putting the zeros in there, and okay, so that gives me an idea of what I'm talking about. I've basically said for whatever reason it was, we needed to get a second-hand tire for the truck, and I'm putting that entry in here. Now, one of the things you'll notice straight away is, and of course, in terms of price, it's going to be zero because we're not selling anything. We have buying something here. Okay. Now, before I push out away from that and show you the rest of the screen, what I would mention to you so that you understand what we're doing is these columns here from the cost of product all the way to the unexpected expenses are more or less money we've spent. Always remember that. If you're putting entries in here, that means it's money leaving the company and we're spending it to either buy products or to do repairs. It's not money coming into our hands. So this will all be negative by the time we do our computations. And the only positive that we do have is in terms of what we sell. Okay, and in some cases, as this cases, if it's a repair, we're just spending money. We're not making any money from it, and that's why it's zero here. If I now tab across to the system generated values, straight away it's telling me the cost of my goods is the total of all those columns I showed you earlier on, and it's clever enough to look at that total cost and basically use the basic uh, summation with what we've earned. So it's going to be whatever we've earned from that particular activity minus the total cost of good. In this case, since we're not selling anything, it's returning a negative value as it should do. And ultimately, what you find is your running balance gets reduced because of that. And again, any entry in here, please do not amend. Just leave it as it is. If it doesn't look right to you, call your administrator or send an email out for help. Your final entry for this particular activity line should be at this point. Anything after the black line should not be touched. Okay, and basically that is what we do with this spreadsheet, and we do it on a weekly basis. You need to submit this particular spreadsheet every week via the email systems. So we'll be asking for it on every Friday for us to see what the entries are. Uh, I recommend that you fill it in uh, on a day-by-day basis. So you, after the activities on Monday, you come in on Tuesday morning and you fill that in so that your spreadsheet is always current up to a day before, and the spreadsheet can be asked for at any time. So that's important. If you've left it and you've not done anything during the week, know that you're running a risk from management if you don't give the information when they need it. This spreadsheet should be a day old at the most. Okay, so I can show you all of the different truck identifiers, all of them you know. Again, if there's anything missing, you need to speak to the administrator to add information in for you. Do not try and coerce that information yourself. In terms of the products and activities, again, huge list. I think that every information there speaks for itself, whatever you want to capture, whichever way you want to do it. There's no steadfast rule about what particular activity you put it in. With time, you get used to what you really need to express, and we'll work with you in terms of selecting the right product or activity. Or simply, if you're not clear, just pick up the phone, send an email out to say, look, I'm trying to do this. What is the right product or activity to use? But in most cases, it's very clear. We do a lot of sand, we do gravels, we do laterite, we do balsa, and even cement. So, and we do repairs. So that's that. Quantity wise, again, is the same thing. We've listed the sort of volumes that we use on day-to-day basis in our vehicles, and again, if you're not quite sure what to put in there, do ask the questions. And remember, all the cost are all negative values for us. These are money we are spending to achieve that activity. The description is crucial. You need to give us enough information to understand what is going on. And of course, if we're selling a product, this is where you give us the value for that product after it's been sold. And that in general terms is what this spreadsheet is about. If I take you to the current entries for October, um, we've had some activities there, all around mainly the this particular truck, the orange Mercedes Benz. There's something about the orange man truck. Again, the activities are correctly listed. Um, Unexpected expense, emergency repairs, negative value, the cost of the repairs done, descriptions are brought in properly. We're not selling, so it's zero at this point, and the information after the black column seems to be working properly. It's showing the cost of the goods, how much we're selling them for, and the profit that we're taking from it, and we have the running balance taken along. Again, this is saying, do not enter values there. Just keep doing your stuff and let this area take care of itself. Okay, and that in a nutshell is what this is about. If you have questions, please come forward and speak with myself or any of your line managers to give you the correct information for you to be able to use this spreadsheet as we want it to be used. And again, like I keep saying, practice, practice, practice. You have a practice sheet, do anything you like here, make sure you get the right information before you go into the proper worksheet to put it in. Practice makes perfect. We encourage you to use this and use it professionally so that we get the right information we need to go through the proper management reporting and accounting and analysis. This spreadsheet is crucial. It's important because it captures all the information we need to make decisions. Okay, I cannot overstress that. Right, and I think that's the end of the session. And thank you for taking time out to quickly go through this with me. And hopefully, this would help in making sure um, we achieve what we need for the company and the business. Thank you. That's what I was looking for.